Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Don, and today I want to talk a little bit about this diet that I'm on. It seems to be working. I've gone from I've gone from about 265 down to about 225 in a matter of 6 months, 7 months. Um, and no, I'm not taking Ozempic or any of these drugs that they claim, will help you lose weight. I know they're effective. A good friend of mine was on Ozempic, and I watched him drop 100 pounds in probably a year. But I talked to my doctor about it. He didn't seem to think it was a good idea. I've got some other health issues that he thought the Ozempic or some of the other drugs might have an impact, might not be good for me. So I went back to trying the old-fashioned way, and that was to watch what I eat and exercise. Now, I got to tell you, at my age, exercise is a bit of a stretch. I do my best. I've spent a lot of years exercising, and I think it's important. I think it's really good for you. And I do some exercises today, but nothing like I used to do back when I was in my 30s and 40s. Um, I have a membership at Planet Fitness. Of all the gyms I've ever belonged to, probably the nicest gym. I would definitely recommend it to anyone, regardless of your age. The one thing I like most about it is they make a big point out of the fact that they're not looking for gym rats. They're not encouraging these Arnold Schwarzenegger types, the guys with all the bulging muscles. They're not really encouraging them to join the gym and come in and do all the heavy lifts and the grunts and the groans. It's more of a mom and pop type place that really has there's a lot of seniors. I was in there the other day, and I saw people that were much older than I am, both men and women, working out on the different machines, and good for them. It's when you start realizing you only have one body and it's up to you to take care of it, the gym starts to make a lot of sense. A couple of my friends have what they call golden sneakers, where they can go to different gyms, and it's covered under their medical plan. Um, I don't happen to have that, and it really wouldn't matter to me because I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm not going to go where I have, where I can only go because of, the program that the insurance might offer. But again, I really recommend Planet Fitness. But a lot of the exercises you can do yourself. I think I made a video earlier about some of the exercises. They call them chair exercises. Some of them that I do both as chair exercises and exercises that I do in my pool. Uh, but to be honest with you, I don't think the exercises have had much effect on me losing any weight. As a matter of fact, back last summer, when I was truly trying to get into weight loss, uh, I was spending a lot of time at the gym. And back then, I was lifting a lot of weights, doing a lot of free weights, as well as using the machines. And it seemed like no matter how much I cut back on my calories, and cut back on how much I was eating, I wasn't losing weight, I was gaining weight. And here I come to find out, and stupid me, I think my doctor told me this, but muscle weighs more than fat. And so it's not like I was building huge muscles, but I was probably gaining some weight through increasing some of the muscles in my body, and it kind of negated whatever weight gain or whatever weight loss I might have had at the same time. So I started backing off from a lot of the exercises and tried to concentrate more on the food and the foods that I was eating. About that same time, I started watching a number of different videos, And I started watching one guy in particular, a guy named Dr. Berg, Berg. And I liked listening to the guy. It was very down to earth, very easy to understand. Um, and one of the things that he talked a lot about was intermittent fasting. I'd never heard of it before. Uh, and in some ways, I'd already done that, different times in my life. But basically, what he's talking about is a period of time that you don't eat. You don't eat anything. Uh, and his recommendation was that you go from, let's say, the time you eat dinner, you stop eating after dinner and you don't eat again until maybe lunch the next day. Um, it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard. Uh, like I say, I was never a big breakfast eater anyway, mainly because I'd go fishing so often in the morning and I didn't have time to really sit down and try to eat breakfast. Um, what his recommendation was is try to get as many fasting hours that you don't eat anything as possible. Because at some point, usually I think around 9, 10 hours that you've abstained from eating anything, your body stops uh, running on sugars and starts running on fats. And that's critically important because that's really how you lose weight. When your body is no longer using sugar as an energy force, and it starts grabbing those fat cells or whatever they are in your body and converting those to some form of sugar to burn for fuel. That's when you start losing weight because you're burning up fat. You're no longer running on carbohydrates. So that's a big part of what I've done for the last maybe 4 or 5 months. And it's harder than you think. I thought, well, this will be a snap. It's be easy to do. Well, I got news for you. I'm guilty of snacking at night. I don't eat a lot during the day, but I'll eat dinner. And from the time I eat dinner until the time I go to bed, I'm going to have potato chips and pretzels and M&Ms and jelly beans and maybe a candy bar, a donut. I love popsicles, ice cream, fudge bars, you name it, I'm in. If there happens to be any cake or brownies or pie, you know, throw a little ice cream and maybe some whipped cream on top of that, and I'm your guy. So that all happens after I eat dinner at night. Never happens during the day because I'm always too busy, but it does happen at night. And so for me to cut things off right after dinner is a lot harder than I thought. Um, and that also means cutting out beverages that have sugar in the beverage. Again, I'm a big iced tea drinker. I've been drinking iced tea all my life. When I was a kid, my mother used to make iced tea because it was cheaper than buying, pop. Uh, we weren't poor, but we couldn't afford with a family of 4 kids to go out and buy, canned pop or bottled pop. So she'd make a jug of iced tea, and that's what we drank, tea or uh, uh, Kool-Aid. We used to drink a lot of Kool-Aid, and we drink a lot of lemonade. And those were kind of the three drinks. And then in the fall, we drink a lot of apple cider. We had a bunch of apple trees, and every year my dad would get big barrel full of apple cider. But all of those things have one primary ingredient, and that's sugar. And I'm here to tell you the enemy of good health is sugar, pure, refined sugar. And for the record, sugar's in everything. I don't care what it is. The more you learn about sugar, the more you begin to realize there's sugar in almost everything that you eat. Almost every type of processed food has sugar in it. I mean, I was eating a hot dog the other day, and I happened to see the bottle of ketchup, and I looked, there's sugar in it. There's sugar in ketchup. There's sugar in just about everything. And the problem with sugar is it's a simple carbohydrate, and it is fuel for your body. Um, one of the reasons you see these children that are given too much candy or whatever, too many soft drinks with sugar, they get all hyper and excited. And I think it's because the sugar it just activates your body. It's a fuel that your body runs on. And your body needs a certain amount of carbohydrates. It just doesn't need as much as we give it. And when you consider that, both simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates are in so many things that we eat and drink, it's never going to put ourselves in a position where our bodies can convert from running on sugars or simple and complex carbohydrates to running on fat. And that's the only way you're going to lose weight. So this intermittent fasting allows your body to get anywhere from 10 to 16 hours where there's no simple and complex carbohydrates coming in. There's no anything coming in. And as a result, your body will switch after it's used up all of the carbohydrates in your system, all the simple sugars. Your body will then switch over to burning fat, and you'll begin to see a weight loss. Now, when you do eat, I typically go back to more of a normal diet, although there are some other modifications I've made. One is I eat a lot of eggs. I eat hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, you name it, egg sandwiches. I love eggs. And eggs are one of the best protein sources that you can eat. And typically a meal for me, and quite often I make them myself because I never break them. I mean, I tell my wife that anyway, but I like them sunny side up. and and usually I'll eat 4 eggs at a time. And usually I'll eat those for breakfast. And I consider breakfast to be, anywhere from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That's my breakfast. And usually I'll eat a couple pieces of toast with it, and I'll only use butter. When I cook the eggs, I only use real butter. I don't use margarine because butter has fat in it, and fat's good for you. Protein and fat are, the things that are most important to your body in place of, the carbohydrates that we typically put into our bodies. And that's typically my first meal of the day. Throughout the day, I might eat an apple, I might eat an orange, banana, different types of fruit. And then by dinner, sometimes I'll have steak, sometimes I'll have pork chops, chicken. Chicken, by the way, is my favorite. Tuna, salmon, a lot of different types of fish. I really like fish, particularly salmon. I'll have salmon at least twice a week. There's a butcher up in Lake Wales that I've gone to, and I have them cut filet mignons. If you're a meat eater, there's probably nothing in the world better than a filet mignon. And surprisingly, you go to a restaurant, they're 30, $40, but you go to a butcher and you can get a 6-ounce filet mignon for probably $6, $7. And so I'll go up and I'll buy 8 or 10 of them, put them in the freezer, and when I feel like having a steak, we'll pull one out, thaw it out, and of course I I like my steaks medium rare. Uh, what do they say? Knock the horns off and wipe its ass. And I mean, that's about where I'm at when it comes to steaks. But enjoy a good porterhouse, sirloin, T-bone. They're all great steaks. But steaks high in protein, it's very good for you. If you're on this type of a diet like I am, it's a good excuse to have a steak at least a couple times a week. You'll never believe the best source of protein and the best all around food that you can eat, the healthiest food. You probably never guess what it is because I never would have. But the absolute best food is hamburger. And I'm not talking about a hamburger that you buy at McDonald's. Uh, that hamburger may come from 200 different cows. I'm talking about a hamburger meat. It's 80%, what is it, 80-20? I think it's 80% protein, lean, a lean cut, 20% fat. That's going to be the ideal hamburger that you should be eating. And it's typically range fed, it's not corralled up. It's not fed a lot of, the foods that have pesticides on them. Anyway, it's considered one of the best foods that you can put into your body. And again, I'll usually have that once or twice a week, either for my lunch meal or my dinner meal. And then quite often, if I eat a large meal for lunch, if I have a steak or if I have fish or chicken, that'll be my big meal of the day. And then in the evening, I just eat a salad. No dressing, just a plain salad. And my wife puts everything in it. You never know. It's got different types of salad. There's the arugula, I think it's called, is mixed in with it. Spinach is mixed in with it. So I'm getting a lot of nutrients from the salad. Um, and it's a light meal. So if it's something I eat in the evening, especially, it's a nice light meal, and it's less likely to keep me awake all night trying to digest it. There are a couple of foods that I'm eating today that I never would have dreamed that I'd be eating. And the first one that comes to mind is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is something that, as when I was growing up, my mother used to cook sauerkraut on January 1st every year. And as kids, we hated it. We hated the smell of it. We hated the taste of it. And we would eat it because it supposedly gave you good luck. And it must have worked because I'm still here. But I started eating it because I read up a lot on it. And it's one of the healthiest foods, that you can actually eat. And so I try to have it as often as I can. I have to warm it up a little bit. I don't like it cold, but it's, raw sauerkraut, and like I say, it's really good for you. Another food item is beets. And again, all my life I've hated beets. I don't even like to say the word beets. I have to kind of hold my nose when I eat them. It's easier to drink a little beet juice. Don't even care much for that, but it is healthy for you. It's good for you. And kind of like arugula, which is kind of a bitter tasting lettuce, or kale. Those are all things that are really good for you if you can learn and teach yourself to eat them. But of all of them, I'd say sauerkraut's probably one of the best. When I was over in Korea, the Koreans used to eat something called kimchi. And I guess it's available here in the stores in the United States. But I got to tell you, I tried it a few times when I was in Korea, and I disliked it almost as much as sauerkraut. It just had such a sour, bitter taste to it that I couldn't understand how anybody could enjoy eating it. But it was essentially the same thing as sauerkraut. They would basically take cabbage and they'd bury it for a year, 2 years, and they'd let it ferment, and then they'd cook it. And it became a very common dish in Korea called kimchi. So there's a lot of different things you can do, both in what you eat and in utilizing the benefits of intermittent fasting to help lose weight. And it works. I'm probably averaging about 2 pounds a week. And, in 6 months, I've lost, I guess I've lost about 35 pounds, somewhere around there. Still like to lose another 15 or 20. It's interesting. If you look up, based on my height, if you look up what I should weigh, according to the medical charts, I'm just under 6 foot. So according to that, I should weigh 157 pounds. I got to tell you, I haven't weighed 150 pounds since I was in 6th grade, but I can't even imagine getting that thin. There is one hazard to losing weight, and that hazard is you're going to have to get some new clothes. Now, fortunately for me, I've done this up and down stuff all my life, as a lot of people have. So I have fat clothes, I have skinny clothes, and I have kind of clothes that are in the middle. It's just a matter of digging them out, trying to find the right ones for the right occasion. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and please like the video. And, if you have any thoughts, maybe you have some suggestions on other things I might want to try that would be healthy for me. Maybe even some exercises I might do that don't kill me. I'd be happy to read about them and respond to you. So have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.